Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in both science and spirit, there comes a moment in every life where the silence becomes deafening, the prayers seem to echo into a void, the doors stay shut. The diagnosis doesn't change, the money doesn't come, the relationship breaks, the hope begins to bleed out from the edges of the soul, and in that space, many whisper, maybe God forgot me, but what if I told you? God never forgets. And even more, what if I told you that the very space you think is absence is actually divine preparation? Shift into energy plus transformation tone C. We've been conditioned to believe that time is linear, that your breakthrough is running late, that blessings obey clocks. But the truth is far more extraordinary. God does not operate in time. God creates time. While you're watching the clock, heaven is building your future in dimensions beyond your five senses. While you're begging for answers, the quantum field, that invisible, intelligent energy, is rerouting an entire universe to bring your break through exactly when it will transform you, not just rescue you. You think you've been waiting for the miracle. No, my friend, the miracle has been waiting for you. Bridge the breakdown before the break. Through, you see, they thought it was over. She'd been praying for a child for years, nothing. He'd lost the business, the house, and nearly lost himself. Another had begged for healing, but the condition only worsened. Each of them said, God, where are you? And here's what's wild, God wasn't late. He was timing everything down to the millisecond, because to the mind, delay feels like punishment, but to the soul, delay is often preparation. And when their breakthrough came, it wasn't just a baby. It was a legacy. It wasn't just a healing. It was a resurrection. It wasn't just a new business. It was a movement. That's the shock. That's what no one tells you. You weren't forgotten. You were being remembered by a reality far greater than logic can grasp. The science, spirit connection, you've got 70 thoughts a day, most of them recycled, and every thought sends out an electrical signal into the field. But your emotions, they magnetize your future. When you feel abandoned, you reinforce lack. But when you begin to feel the reality of God's faithfulness before it arrives, you create alignment with divine timing. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law backed by biology. When your heart is coherent and your mind is clear, you step into resonance with miracles. So no, God didn't forget you. God was waiting for you to remember who you are, not a victim of circumstance, but a vessel of infinite potential. So I say to you today, stop watching the clock. Stop checking the door. Start becoming the version of yourself that the miracle has been waiting for. Because the most powerful shock of all is this: God was never late. You were right on time for the greatest chapter of your life to begin, and that whisper in your soul, that nudge that says, don't give up yet, that's not you. That's eternity reminding you, you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. You are becoming, and that will shock the world. We've been taught to measure life in minutes, hours, days, and to expect answers, breakthroughs, and blessings to arrive on that same schedule. But that's a human concept. Time as we know it is a construct of our physical experience. It helps us navigate reality in a linear way, but it doesn't bind the realm where God operates. God does not operate in time. He creates it. That's a fundamental shift in perspective. When you understand that the divine intelligence behind all creation isn't subject to the ticking of a clock, you begin to release the grip of impatience and anxiety. God's movements are not late because they were never meant to be measured by our calendars. Just like a seed knows the exact moment to break through the soil, there is a divine rhythm that orchestrates when and how events unfold in our lives. What looks like delay is often the alignment of circumstances you can't see. You may be living in what feels like a pause, but heaven is moving in dimensions far beyond your sensory awareness. Divine timing is not reactive, it's pre-designed. The moment you start seeing time as something asterisk God uses asterisk, rather than something asterisk God obeys asterisk, your faith shifts. You stop panicking when things don't happen on schedule, because you realize there's a schedule above yours. It's layered with purpose, preparation, and unseen orchestration. That space between your prayer and its fulfillment isn't a void, it's a sacred gap where invisible threads are being woven together. When we say God is never late, it's not a cliché, it's a spiritual and quantum reality. He moves through eternity, not urgency. What appears to you as stillness is often God setting the stage for something precisely timed to your becoming, not just your asking. When we enter a season of silence, it can feel like abandonment. The prayers go unanswered, the doors stay shut, and life appears to stall. In that stillness, doubt begins to creep in. We interpret the lack of movement as divine absence. But silence isn't absence, it's divine preparation. There's a dimension of God's presence that works in the invisible, in the spaces where nothing seems to be happening. This space, though quiet, is not empty. It's full of unseen activity, alignment, and inner transformation. We are conditioned to expect noise as evidence of progress. We want to hear the answer, feel the shift, see the sign, but God often works most powerfully in stillness. Like a seed buried in soil, there is growth that must happen in darkness. It's quiet under the ground, but that doesn't mean the seed is dead. It's developing roots. It's preparing to rise. In the same way, our periods of silence are not wasted. They are stages of internal recalibration, where our beliefs, emotions, and identity are being brought into alignment with the outcome we seek. This kind of preparation is essential. It's where the soul is stretched, where patience is cultivated, where clarity begins to take root. Divine silence is not passive, it's intentional. It's the pause before the breakthrough, the inhale before the creative exhale of destiny. What we often misinterpret as nothing happening is actually the ground being cleared for everything to happen. We don't realize that if the answer came too soon, it would collapse under the weight of our unreadiness. So instead, the silence holds us, shapes us, conditions us to become someone who can carry what we're asking for. It's divine preparation masked as stillness, where heaven works behind the veil of our understanding. We often wait for miracles like we wait for a bus, expecting them to arrive at a specific time, hoping not to miss them, watching the horizon for signs. But miracles don't operate on timetables. They don't respond to desperation. They respond to alignment. The truth is, your miracle isn't late. It's been ready. It's waiting for you, not just your wish, but your alignment, your energy, your readiness to receive from a higher state of being. In the unseen world, everything you've asked for already exists as potential. It lives in the quantum field beyond time and space, waiting for you to match it vibrationally. But if you're waiting in fear, in lack, in anxiety, you're not in harmony with what you're asking for. The longer you remain in a state of separation, believing the miracle is far away someday in the future, the longer it feels delayed. But when you begin to live, breathe, and feel the reality of it now, even before it manifests, you collapse time. You begin to draw it to you not by effort, but by resonance. This is not fantasy. It's how energy works. It's how faith works. The moment your internal world reflects the emotion and belief of the outcome already fulfilled, you enter a new electromagnetic frequency, one where the miracle can find you. It's not about waiting passively. It's about becoming actively attuned. What you desire is not behind in schedule. It's waiting for your signal, and that signal is belief. Not the kind that says, "I hope it will come," but the kind that says, "It's already mine." That's when the shift happens. That's when timing stops being an obstacle and starts becoming irrelevant. The miracle doesn't need to catch up to you. You need to rise to meet it. We often treat delay as a denial, as though the absence of immediate results means the answer is no. But in the divine process, delay is rarely about denial, it's about transformation. When something we deeply desire doesn't arrive on our timeline, the instinct is to assume it's being withheld, but more often it's being refined. Delays are not empty pauses, they are sacred spaces where preparation, purification, and repositioning take place. In these moments, life is doing something to you, in you, and through you that cannot be rushed. You may be praying for change, but you're still carrying the version of yourself that couldn't sustain it. So delay steps in, not to punish you, but to evolve you. It creates the space necessary for you to shed what no longer serves you and grow into someone capable of stewarding what you're asking for. Sometimes, what you think is being held back is actually being protected. You are not just waiting on the thing is waiting on the transformation happening within you. Think about the chrysalis. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, a complete metamorphosis is underway. The caterpillar doesn't get denied flight. It gets delayed so it can become the kind of creature that can fly. You are in the same process. Delay is the cocoon. It's the container where your old patterns dissolve, where your new identity begins to form. You may not feel it, and it may not look like progress, but something sacred is taking shape. The discomfort of delay often reveals how deeply we're attached to control. It asks us to let go, to trust the unfolding, to believe that what's coming is not just on the way. It's becoming better than we imagined because we're becoming better than we were. Every thought you think sends out an electrical signal into the field around you. It's not just a fleeting idea. It's a frequency, a vibration that carries information, and your emotions, they are magnetic. They attract experiences that match their intensity and quality. Together, your thoughts and emotions form the electromagnetic signature you emit into the quantum field, which is constantly responding to your internal state. This is not just spiritual theory, it's measurable energy. The way you think and feel is creating your future in every moment. When you dwell in thoughts of fear, worry, or lack, you broadcast a signal of separation from what you desire. You may be praying for abundance, but if your emotions are rooted in scarcity, you are out of alignment with the very thing you're asking for. The field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. This is why wishing isn't enough. You must become the embodiment of the experience before it manifests. Feel the gratitude before the blessing comes. Feel the love before the relationship arrives. Feel the healing before the body changes. This inner alignment isn't pretending. It's training your nervous system to recognize the future as already here. It's rewiring your brain to stop reliving the past and start experiencing the future emotionally and energetically. The moment your inner world reflects the future you desire, you create a resonance, and the quantum field, this intelligent, responsive field of possibility, begins to reflect back to you a reality that mirrors your internal state. You are not attracting by chance, you are creating by coherence. Your energy is your signature, and your signature writes the story of your life. The field is listening not to your words, but to the signal of your mind and the magnetism of your heart. There is a moment, often just before the miracle arrives, when everything seems to fall apart. The job is lost, the diagnosis worsens, the relationship ends, the plan fails. It feels like a collapse, a breakdown that contradicts every prayer you've spoken and every promise you've believed in. But this moment, though painful, is not the end, it's the threshold. In fact, the breakdown is often the last stage before the breakthrough. It's the final shedding of what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. In the breakdown, old beliefs rise to the surface to be confronted. Emotional wounds that were hidden come up to be healed. Everything false or limited about your identity begins to crumble, because it cannot coexist with the version of you that the miracle requires. The pressure intensifies not to destroy you, but to reshape you. Just as metal is forged in fire, your spirit is refined in the heat of surrender. And when everything familiar falls away, you're forced to reach beyond your patterns, your logic, your control. This is where transformation lies, in the discomfort, in the chaos, in the unknown. The breakdown strips away illusion. It challenges your ego and exposes where your faith was conditional. But this collapse is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the recalibration of your life so that it can hold something greater. You don't rebuild on the same weak foundation. You rise on something unshakable. The breakdown asks you to let go of how you thought it would happen and open up to a higher intelligence that sees more than you do. This is not the falling apart of your destiny, but the falling away of everything that blocked it. The miracle doesn't rise from the comfort zone. It emerges through the ashes of the old self being undone. When your heart and mind are in coherence, you become a powerful force of creation. Coherence is the state where your thoughts and emotions are not working against each other, but flowing in harmony. It's the alignment of the intellect and the soul, logic and feeling, belief and emotion. When your heart, a generator of electromagnetic energy, and your brain, a transmitter of signals, begin to operate in sync, your entire being becomes a magnet for transformation. Most people live in a state of internal conflict. They think positively, but they feel doubt. They visualize success, but carry fear. This disconnect creates incoherence, and in that state, energy is fragmented. The quantum field responds not to the words we speak, but to the energy we broadcast. When there is no alignment between heart and mind, the signal sent out is chaotic, unclear, and ineffective. But when both are unified in a clear intention and an elevated emotion, such as gratitude, joy, or love, you send out a coherent signal that resonates with possibility. This is when synchronicity begins to appear. This is when doors open without force, when answers arrive without struggle. Coherence is not about forcing outcomes. It's about tuning into the frequency of the outcome you desire, as if it were already real. It's allowing your internal state to reflect the end result emotionally and mentally, even before it shows up in your outer world. Creating coherence isn't mystical, it's practical. It's a daily practice of breathing, focusing, and choosing thoughts and emotions that match the future you want to experience. It's training the body to believe what the mind envisions and allowing the heart to support that vision with elevated feeling. In coherence, you become more than just hopeful. You become energetically aligned with the miracle that has always been trying to find you victim. Hood is one of the most subtle and powerful blocks to transformation. It disguises itself as justification, as the story of why things didn't work out, why the pain is too much, why the breakthrough is out of reach. It keeps you anchored to the past and convinces you that your current reality is determined by what happened to you, rather than what's possible through you. But the truth is, as long as you live from the identity of a victim, you reinforce limitation and separation from your own divine power. Miracles require space. They require an inner environment that can hold expansion, faith, and expectancy. Victimhood shrinks that space. It focuses your energy on survival instead of creation. It trains your nervous system to stay in protection mode where nothing new can grow. You can't embody the frequency of change while clinging to the frequency of blame or fear. The shift happens when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to awaken in me?" You are not here to carry pain like a badge of identity. You are here to transform it into wisdom, into power, into fuel. That shift, stepping out of victimhood and into the role of a vessel, is the moment you reclaim your ability to co-create with the divine. A vessel doesn't hold on to the past, it holds space for what's coming. It receives, channels, and pours out from a source greater than itself. You are not the sum of your wounds. You are the channel through which healing can move. The moment you let go of the story that you are stuck, broken, or forgotten, is the moment you begin to radiate the energy that invites wholeness, direction, and divine acceleration into your life. We often spend so much time waiting for our external circumstances to change before we allow ourselves to feel the joy, the peace, or the abundance we desire. We tell ourselves, once I get the job, the relationship, the health, then I will feel successful, happy, or whole. But this approach is backwards. The key to attracting what you want is not about waiting for the thing to come to you. It's about embodying the feeling of the thing before it shows up. The future you desire isn't something to chase, it's something to become. When you live with the belief that your breakthrough is tied to a specific moment in time, you disconnect from the present. The future becomes a distant concept, and you wait for it to materialize outside of you. But real transformation happens when you stop chasing time and start embodying the future you seek in the present moment. You must begin to live as if it has already arrived. Feel the gratitude now. Feel the success now. Feel the health now. When you do this, you collapse the distance between where you are and where you want to be. By embodying the energy of your desires, you align your internal world with your external reality. When your mind, heart, and body are in sync, you no longer have to wait for something to change. You create the change from within. You begin to resonate with the energy of the future you want, and the world around you responds in kind. The law of attraction isn't about attracting things. It's about becoming the version of yourself who is worthy of those things, and that happens now, not in the future. The only thing standing between you and your desire is your willingness to step into the version of you that already holds it. You are not forgotten. Even in moments of doubt, even when it feels like the world has passed you by, there is a force at work that never loses sight of you. The world may not always reflect the greatness within you, but the universe is always conspiring to bring your potential to life. Every prayer, every dream, every desire you've ever had is still in the process of being fulfilled, just not in the way you might expect. The divine does not abandon you. It is always moving in the unseen, guiding, aligning, and creating pathways where you can't yet see them. In times when it feels like nothing is happening, it's easy to believe that God or the universe has forgotten you. But the truth is, everything is unfolding at exactly the right moment. Sometimes, it's not about a sudden shift, but a steady transformation happening underneath the surface. You may not feel it, but God has been quietly positioning your life for a greater purpose. Every step, every challenge, every silence is part of the process of your becoming. God is not in a rush, and neither should you be. Your time is coming, and it is coming with more power, clarity, and abundance than you can imagine. What's incredible is that the space you feel between where you are and where you want to be is not empty. It's fertile. It's full of potential waiting to be realized. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. What's happening now is not punishment, it's preparation. You are being shaped, refined, and positioned for something greater. The miracle is still on its way, but it's waiting for you to rise into the version of yourself that can receive it. You haven't been forgotten. You've been carefully prepared for what's next.